What's up, YouTube and OS? This is Who's Your Daddy checking in to provide my initial reactions to the major news yesterday out of the EA camp. As many of you already know, I was working on a 4-part series breaking down each aspect of Elite, but because of the shocking news, I decided to put a halt to all of that and give my feedback regarding what has transpired. So here we go. I was actually talking to a developer at the time of the announcement and asked for his initial reactions about all of this. He claimed they were informed yesterday morning of the delay and no further information had been released about the process. GameStop has put a placeholder date of March 31st, 2011 for a release, but I highly doubt that will be an official release date. Listen guys, EA clearly made the right move here and was something many of us suggested they had to do for months. After being at the Community Day event in July and after hearing all of their plans, as well as the input we provided, it was glaring they would not have enough time to get everything done. Say what you want about the demo, but underneath all the helter-skelter animations and hyper-speed gameplay, the amount of control we've been given is a real positive. As much as I was looking forward to getting my hands on the retail copy, you couldn't ignore the fact the game was suffering from nearly every other facet outside of control and presentation. By the way, if you want to hear my thoughts on presentation, I will be leaving up part 1 of 4 of my series, and eventually we'll get around to finishing the other 3 parts as more information is released in the near future. Much respect to the developers on OS. They have been top-notch in communicating with the consumers, and I truly believe if they continue this dialogue, this game could be something special in the near future. I made it clear to all of the devs that I had my bags packed and was ready to go back up there and help get this thing right. Make no mistake about it, the community's voice has been heard and credit has to be given to EA on some level for actually responding with this announcement. I want to focus the rest of this video on providing things I feel need to be addressed prior to release, whether that be in a few months or hopefully waiting until October 2012 and taking a year off. There's no need to rush this development. I say wait it out and put out a high quality product next season. Consider the rest of this video a sort of bucket list to things I think need to be fixed or added to make a more realistic basketball game. Many have complained about the animations, and I'm right there with all of you. Dazar and others at OS hit the nail on the head when saying the engineering side of the game is far more advanced than the actual animations and the way the game looks. Real-time physics sounds like a good idea, but when you compensate looks for algorithms, it just doesn't work. Plain and simple. Others have complained about graphics. I personally don't see the difference to the extent many are suggesting around the community. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'll take a hit graphically if the game plays well and is realistic. I do have to say the numbers on the jerseys look like holographs at times though. The AI does need a lot of work. The CPU awareness is borderline retarded at times. I want the CPU to take advantage of my gamble. There's times where players throw up off-balance shots or trick layups when the basket is wide open. More importantly, there's times when a defender will leave a superstar player to double-team the ball and the point guard will not recognize the player is wide open. Transition baskets are few and far between, really a highlight of NBA basketball. Wing players need to attack the basket more in the half court. Too many times they stand around and watch the ball handler as the clock expires. The lack of turbo really hinders any deception that can be played to your advantage. I'm a fan of the no turbo feature, but I do feel there needs to be a dedicated button for speed burst in certain situations. I'll touch on this a bit later in the video. Too many times you see what I would call scrub players attempting shots that you never see them attempt in real life. Ron Artest with pull-up 8-footers in traffic, Andrew Bynum with 17-foot fadeaway jumpers, all by the CPU mind you. This is unacceptable. The game gives no realistic outcomes in regards to violations either. Offensive and defensive 3 seconds is a real common violation in the NBA. You can literally stand in the lane for 10 seconds before anything is called. Switching to a zone defense results in gameplay reminiscent of what college basketball displays, with no penalty whatsoever in this game. There are deflections that should result in kickball violations that are not called. This can cause players to be out of position due to trying to retrieve the ball. Which brings me to the lack of urgency on loose balls that's evident on many possessions. Players are still hindered by the AI awareness of diving to the floor and picking up loose balls, or the delay in which you try to retrieve the ball is absurd. I don't know how many times I've been called for an over and back violation while trying to regain possession off of a deflection, and you're stuck between making the decision of getting a violation or letting the defender pick up the ball and have an easy fast break. Unrealistic verticals and gameplay speed has plagued this franchise for years. The excuse has been given that many of the vertical issues we see is a direct result of allowing defenders to block a shot. You rarely see blocked jump shots anyways. There needs to be more contested jumpers or tipped blocks instead of all-out swats. Rebounds also have the vertical issue. Seeing Ilgauskas slap the top of the board is ridiculous. I understand verticals can be edited via player ratings, but this should be an issue that's fixed out of the box in my opinion. Please give us the ability to edit gameplay speed as a slider and add more sliders overall. Do not take away the sliders we all want to edit to try to make the game better. Another request I had was to actually add numbers to the sliders instead of having to count the clicks. Is that really difficult to implement? The demo just seems very beta-like or vanilla to me, and I think that's due to the lack of or awkwardness of the animations and inexistent signature sets that need to be implemented. You cannot distinguish any differences between any of the players. That's not NBA basketball. As the game stands right now, it's more of a college atmosphere, and that's even pushing it. Bring back our size-up moves. Give us not only signature shots, but dribble packages, dunk packages, free throw routines, fadeaways, gathers, etc. Glitches and bugs are all over this game, and is likely a major reason why the delay was announced. The Jesus glitch was huge, albeit hilarious, but was supposedly fixed prior to launch. The ballerina glitch is another killer that I brought to the attention of many of the devs. The hook shot glitch, which resulted in almost automatic makes from anywhere, is unacceptable. The dribble glitch, while feverishly moving the left stick, results in the ball not even touching the ground. The list is long and I could keep going, but I think you get the point. Last, I'd like to talk about the controls. While I love the control, there are still many things it lacks. Why not utilize the sticks to move in every direction, which will in turn provide more dribbling moves and animations that the game desperately lacks? I proposed a revamped controller mapping to a few developers that would allow every direction of the right stick to perform moves off of the dribble, out of the post, and out of the triple threat. My logic in this was to give Elite more of a variety of moves and allow the game to have more depth. Now, many of you are probably thinking, how can you utilize every direction of the right stick when the right stick is used to shoot? Well, I adopted a shot trigger feature that would only trigger a shot animation on a combination of buttons. I'm not sure if this would be well received by the community, so I'm interested to hear all of your thoughts regarding this. Let me explain briefly. The right trigger or R2 would become a shot trigger, and the X would go back to being pass, which is another complaint many have had. So for instance, up on the right stick would become a stutter step dribble, for example, while 10 and 2 respectively on the right stick would be a jab step fake or a hesitation dribble. If you want to shoot the ball, it would be right trigger or R2 and up on the right stick. Another idea I had was to add speed burst with L2. That could be utilized out of the triple threat and give that feeling of explosion, which is another necessity in my opinion. These are just a few of the changes I'd like to see occur. Again, I highly doubt the EA team would consider changing the controls yet again, but I feel it provides more control, something that they're aiming for. Worst case scenario, give us the ability to map our own controls and choose a button for each move. Well guys, I think that's about it. I could keep going on for hours because I have tons of ideas. I hope I get the opportunity to get back up to Canada and help all of them out as soon as possible. I've made it clear that I'm ready. It's on them to make the call. Thanks to Desar for the shout out on the OS radio show last night, by the way. Much respect to all of those who represent the Sim Nation. I'm trying my best to not let you all down, and I'm pushing EA to make the right decisions and give us the game that we want. A message for the OS boards: keep coming with your ideas and thoughts. EA is truly listening. Thanks for all of your time. Stay tuned. Many more videos coming soon.